Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to Sci Trek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. We have Matty. Say hello, Matty.
Hello.
And we have young Harris over there, looking tired, looking like he had a really good New Year's Eve.
Rightfully so. Howdy.
Damn right. So we won't tease you for too long, but run the credits. Okay, so today we were going to be doing a video welcoming 2023 and telling you all about the projects we were looking forward to, including, hopefully, Stargate, and bringing back a lot of our favourite sci-fi show. As you guys know, Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus's production company, Penguin and Parker, a couple of months ago now, asked Amazon asked them, what would you like to do? And they said, we would love to do Stargate. And Stargate were like, well, that's funny. We'd quite like to do Stargate too. So they started doing some development, and they did some development work. And then I broke the news a couple of weeks ago that they had actually started some contract negotiations, which was all very exciting. We weren't quite sure whether they were going to be show running or what, but at very least they're developing. I had some news today, a message that started with, oh, by the way, did I tell you, which is always good, that before Christmas, the contract negotiations between Penguin and Parker and Amazon collapsed. That there were several issues that Penguin and Parker and Amazon disagreed on. And at the moment, even though the deal isn't dead, because they do have a good working relationship, it's not looking amazing. So we could actually be back to square one. Before I explain to you what those issues were, just because you guys don't know this, I haven't told you. I only literally found out today. So I've been scrambling around trying to find out as much information as I could before we went live. Instant thoughts?
Fuck.
Yep.
That's nice. I said something more colourful.
What went wrong? What they'd done all that work. What could possibly have gone wrong?
Is it due to God of War or what,
It looks like God of War was part of the issue. So apparently there was 3 or 4 things that happened. So initially, the God of War deal was thing, but the God of War deal has been known about for like 6 months. So that wasn't a major problem. But as soon as the God of War deal sort of was signed and they started doing all the work, a couple of people at Amazon did apparently raise the question of, is Penguin and Parker big enough? Do they have enough experience, whatever, to do both of these big projects? Because apparently they want God of War to be a big project. They're looking at like $12 million an episode average for God of War, which I was just like, what? That's more than what Star Trek.
It's a massive franchise in gaming.
Yeah. So
they want to make it big.
Yeah, so they want to make that into a big franchise, apparently. So there was questions about that. But Mark Fergus sort of said, well, look, I'm running Stargate. That was my baby. I really want to do Stargate. Hawk, best name ever, is really pushing God of War. That's his baby. So his focus will be there. My focus will be here. This is what we've done before. When we did The Expanse, we ran lots of different projects. So that was a question, but didn't really cause an issue. Then they started negotiating about timeframes, and apparently they want God of War filming within like a few months. They're looking at like spring. And Penguin and Parker sort of went, shit, really? That's going to be that's a little closer than we thought. So that caused a bit of an issue. But apparently these things are like normal negotiation stuff that goes on. The executives always want the impossible, don't they? They always want that. Well, can we have this on our screens next week? And then the actual guys making it have to sort of go, it might be a little tricky. But, you negotiate while you've got the contracts, don't you? The big thorn that apparently there was a big meeting between Mark Fergus and, I didn't write his name down, the chief executive at Amazon. I'll find out his name in a minute. There was a big meeting between those two guys anyway, and they started actually talking about the plan for the show. The first major problem was Amazon told MGM that they said, we're going to put this on MGM Plus in America and the rest of the world, which Mark Ferguson immediately went, that's not what we said before. Apparently, according to my source, the agreement was it would go on MGM Plus in America and Prime everywhere else. So Mark Ferguson wasn't happy about that. Then they told him because it's going on a smaller platform, the budget's going to be smaller. And apparently, Mark Ferguson was suggesting that his project was going to require around $10 million an episode, average. So some would be more, some would be less, but 10 episodes roughly would cost $100 million. They came back with $50 million is the most we're willing to pay for a new project on MGM Plus. That was the hurdle that apparently Mark Ferguson just went, that's not possible. It can't be done.
You'd think with a brand new streaming platform, they'd put more money into it to have a bigger and better show. So that show could pave the way for more content in the future. They want to start with a bang.
You know, that doesn't show like that doesn't show confidence in it. I don't think that doesn't show confidence in Stargate at all.
Or MGM Plus for me.
Or MGM Plus, yeah.
The other biggest show on MGM Plus right now, or it's still Epics at the moment, is Billy the Kid. That averages $3 million an episode. It's a completely different sort of project because it's, it's cowboy and western thing, isn't it? There's no special effects really. There's stunt work, that's about it. But it would still be the most expensive project apparently on MGM Plus.
I mean, rightfully so. The post-production itself should be $3 million an episode, or $1.5 million, $2 million an episode minimum.
Yeah. So that's. I just looked at, like I say, I think was just like really put it. Shouldn't have got our hopes up. And about the Stargate franchise is huge, and to me, it's just crazy. William Arden's the Stargate franchise has become a fumbled football between the various corporate factions, and a little chance of crossing the goal line. What's your? I'm going to tell you what my instinct about this is, and I'm worried. I won't lie, but what is your instinct about whether Stargate's going to happen based on this?
I think it'll happen. It's gonna take some time. I think honestly, they have to figure out what their game plan is. This does not show confidence in any bit of the franchise at all, which is not very nice to all of us Stargate fans who they just took it off Amazon Prime to dangle the freaking carrot in front of our faces to go over to Epics, and then they're not even gonna go forward with anything. Obviously, talks go down over time, but to actively be willing to toy with the third largest sci-fi fan base on this planet, arguably the sleeping giant, as we like to say, it's not fair for all the people that have put their time and effort into making the series in the past 20 years, and it's not fair for all the people that want to and are actively looking for more of it, and instead of getting more of it, they're being toyed with.
Yeah.
It's a carrot on a treadmill or a piece of cake on a treadmill, and you're just running after nothing, really.
How about you, Matt? You can tell how there's no energy in the room now. It's just like
I know.
For fuck's sake!
I came into this live show all pumped up, like, yeah, let's talk about 2023, and you've ruined my day.
It's ruined. It's over. Fuck it.
Well, it's Monday.
Honestly, right? Stargate back in the day had a really, really low budget anyway. They pulled together a fantastic show out of basically nothing.
Yeah.
Stargate has always been...
SG-1 had nearly $1 million an episode back then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had their budget cut at one point, so they had to do workarounds and all this stuff. I'm kind of in the mindset, maybe they'll just try and do that again. They'll do a workaround and it will still be good. because a lot of shows that come out on a shoestring budget still actually are really good. Money isn't everything, but
well, like I say, apparently how this meeting ended was Mark Fergus politely saying we can't do that, and basically saying we'll talk again in the new year. Which was not what was supposed to happen. This was actually supposed to be, we're announcing this mid-January, crack on sort of thing. So I don't think it's dead. And they have a good working relationship with Amazon. So we shouldn't just like go, well, they're just going to walk away. The bit that concerns me is this news we're hearing about Bad Robot. And I've heard that, there are potentially negotiations going on there. Now, I was told by my source, who does work reasonably close to this, and so this person couldn't tell me all the information because they didn't actually have it in their hands. They saw something, and they believed it was more to do with a movie potentially, but we don't know. Maybe that is kicked off because Mark Fergus has said we can't do that. So Amazon are going, well, Bad Robot's ready to crack on, and they can. So here we go. I mean, that's me speculating. That's me spitballing completely, but
yeah,
it might just mean if Bad Robot were going to be doing the movie side of things, that we just get the movie first. The movie franchise kicks it all off, and hopefully Hawk and Mark and they can work something out. So in the intermediary period, they can bring a show after the movie.
I'd like to think so. Oh, sorry, that was one of the things they said. Apparently, there was negotiating about the movie as well, and Mark Fergus was always told, apparently, that the movie and the series would go hand in hand. And then during this meeting, they were told, no, it's going to be standalone. So the movie would be standalone. And things so. Again, apparently, Mark Fergus didn't really like that either. He thought he was going to have reign over the whole franchise, and it turned out no, he's not. Maybe. So
standalone in the sense that it's not canon, or
don't know.
Doesn't follow on.
At that point,
so.
you might as well ask what is.
Sorry, go on, Harris.
No, I said at that point you might as well ask what is canon if they're separating the two. And we just don't need to get into that conversation with Stargate. It screwed Star Trek, Star Wars completely over, and that's what we want to emulate. Let's not emulate that if we don't have to.
That's the thing.
Obviously. Who's the people that screwed it up both times too?
Stargate is big enough though that you can have individual stories in a 90-minute movie, and it not, as long as it sticks within canon and it not interfere with the TV series. I don't have any issue with that. It's just like I said, all the stuff I've been hearing for months has always been it'll be in canon. They're going to do a Marvel style thing where all of the movies they'll interlock with each other, and then all of a sudden, sort of like, yeah, I've changed my mind. And I wonder if that's because Bad Robot have come with an idea and Stargate are going, yeah, we'll do that. Then it's completely fucking different, and it'll be a parallel universe nonsense or something. But again, I don't know for sure, but
that would not make.
That's the only way they can get away with changing canon is making a parallel universe, but it's such a cop out. Like, everyone does that.
Yeah, it's lazy as far as I'm concerned. I will go back to a rumor I heard months ago as well, and I did say at the time, I was told by a guy that works, and I nearly told you too much information then. Lives are dangerous, man, when you're trying to make sure you protect sources information. So I was told a few months ago that if Stargate doesn't happen in the early new year, in 2023, it won't happen for years. Amazon were already sort of like, apparently there was a marketing meeting a couple of months ago, and the marketing team were going, well, let's announce that we're doing something. It'll be good news. It'll be really good for MGM Plus. And they were told very clearly, you can't, because we're not 100% certain we're doing it yet. And if we don't do it, if it won't happen it'll be completely put on the back burner. So we've got close. Is this just enough of a? I mean, my hope is they come back in the new year and then they go, you know what? How about 8 million?
See, my view on it is Mark and Hawk they put in the work. They did the show Bible. They put in a lot of work before speaking to Amazon, essentially.
Yeah.
They then got the gig, and this is just a bump in the road. They're not going to have wanted to have done all that work prior just for them to say, yeah, we can't do it on that budget. And they go, okay, that's fine. We won't do it again. They'll work something out. That's how I feel. They're going to have to work something out.
So if it was me, though, if I was Mark Ferguson, I'd be looking at what happened with The Expanse, where they had a limited budget. They were never allowed to produce the show maybe they wanted to produce, and they were constantly having to do it on a shoestring. Maybe they're looking at it going, I don't want to do that again.
Mm.
And they prove themselves where they shouldn't have to as well. You know, that they have legitimately made great franchises that people follow and adore, and different streaming services are fighting for, as your video was talking about yesterday. You know, they need to actually have what they have put out there. So I guess saying that, though, they made the Bible, but they don't own the Bible, do they? Amazon owns the Bible that they made, right?
They own the IP, so
yeah.
The Bible was just a like a guide for whoever was going to make the show. This is what happened. This is the rules you have to follow.
I'm just, I guess, assuming contractually that even though that they wrote the Bible, that it was in the contract or whatever they did sign is like, okay, Amazon has actually
paid to do that. Yeah. So the Bible was bought up. What I heard initially was, though, that they did a lot of the Bible off their own backs, and then Amazon went, "Well, this is great," and then a deal was signed for that, and then there was some. They've already been paid apparently for some development work, because I mean, no company does these things for free, do they? So they would have been paid for that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because the content of the Bible is Stargate. And they own it. This is like doing fan fiction, isn't it? You have to be. There's such a fine line between what you can and can't do. You know, all these guys doing Star Trek videos on YouTube. Some would argue much better videos than Discovery, but much better content. But they have to be so careful because if they cross the line, they get sued, and the video gets taken down, and they get sued. And a couple of companies have done. So, but yeah, so basically, even though they own the Bible, Amazon own what the Bible says, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So I guess that makes me follow up with another question. If they do want to go, the only like positive I can see coming out of this, which it's just spitballing, it's throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping it sticks, you know. If they do want this smaller budget, they're willing to, and they want to go to Epics, they want to do all this stuff, but they have the Bible that Mark and Hawk wrote that they really like. Could they take Brad Wright back because he's willing to work within a smaller budget a lot of the times and say, hey, we like this story that Mark and Hawk did better. It fits within the world you created. Can you come over here and meld around what was going to be and put it into a smaller budget, something that we can actually work with what we want to do? I'd rather than take the bigger budget and go with Mark and Hawk, and maybe include Brad as a producer, co-showrunner, whatever, you know, as a pundit or a host. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if that were to be the case, where Brad would actually come in here and be able to do it for a lot less, does that reopen the doors in any way, or is that?
We're speculating, aren't we? Because we have no idea. But I mean, you could argue that does this just basically put us back to square one, and so anything's possible? I fear, though, if we go back to square one, Amazon will just say, "Well, we're concentrating on other things now." This will have to wait. And we've got to remember as well the state of streaming services right now. Everywhere is cutting budgets. I mean, look at what's going on with HBO Max. They're cutting projects left, right, and center. I'm doing a video shortly of basically a list of projects that are still stuck in development hell, and it goes on and on and on. The Portal movie, Sliders reboot, Battlestar Galactica series and movie, the list just goes on and on of projects that were looked 12 months ago to be nailed down, and now you're like, where are they? What's going on? Is Stargate going to just end up falling into that category now of just projects that you just think, you know what, we love it, Babylon 5, we love it, we just can't afford it right now?
Well, okay, that makes me ask another question. Why do you think they want to, with the streaming service kind of war the way it is at the moment, and it's kind of dying out, it's in its third leg, I guess, we're all deciding what we're going to keep and not. Why do you think Amazon wants to do all this with Epix and MGM Plus? Why start a third streaming service instead of really honing in on Amazon Prime, where anybody who pays for Amazon already has that? That doesn't logistically make all that much sense to me.
Yeah. No, it doesn't with me either, which is why nobody expected it. Everyone expected, and I think we did, well, I think we've talked about it more than once, that when a new Stargate series came, it would go on Prime. Yeah. Because it's going to be an expensive main project. You know, this was talking about the a tentpole project sort of thing. This was going to be something that they had this was going to be a franchise, you know, that they wanted to push Star Trek for. It's not going to be that if it's on MGM Plus. There aren't enough subscribers, and there never will be. And Prime, I think their thinking is Prime will become like this hub. So Prime won't really be a streaming service as much as a place to go to get streaming services. So it'll be that place where you go and you get Netflix through Prime, you get Disney through Prime sort of thing, which a lot of people already do. A lot of people, you know, they get their Fire Sticks and they get Prime through, and then MGM Plus would just be like that. It would just be another service you get through that. But the thing is, and I say, and you pay for Prime because you get the free delivery. People almost don't see it. Like I had Prime for years and I never watched it. I paid for it because of the delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they're moving away from that. I have noticed that stuff costs more on Prime now because they just build the delivery cost into the price instead of, and then, you know, and tell you it's free delivery and it's not. But anyway, that's another story. But I think that's what they're thinking, and I think they think Epix, that they don't think of Prime as a streaming service. They think of it as a delivery service for streaming services. So less and less stuff will necessarily appear on Prime. It'll be where you get movies and you pay for movies and things like this. But I think it won't work.
No, that makes me want to bang my head up against the wall, because the next question I have is, then why not spend more money on Stargate for Epix to really attract some people? It's just there's
that's exactly what I was saying to begin with. Yeah. I want to start with a bang.
Yeah,
you don't want to put a show on that you can't.
Maybe it's a negotiation tactic. Maybe Amazon are just going, right, can you do it for this? We'll do it for this, and they're just trying to, you know, thing. But I don't know how these things work normally. But I'm telling you what, from what I'm told, Mark Fergus was furious when he left that meeting. It is what I'm told. Now they were getting into sort of a blurry area of people's opinion and, you know, whatever. And then Mark Fergus isn't here to defend himself, but apparently it was not a pleasant thing. So don't know about that. We can speculate on that. But
yeah.
The thing that annoys me about it all, right? Amazon has lots of money.
So much.
They have so much money. Maybe not Amazon, like the streaming service side of it, but the Amazon, the e-commerce side, Amazon web hosting, web servers, things like that. Amazon as an entire company has so much money. Just put some money into, just pull it out of there. An extra like $5 million an episode or something. You could do it, and it wouldn't even be a drop in the bucket.
I mean, we've talked about it before. They have the best marketing system that anyone could ask for. That's why the Rings of Power was so viewed, even though not everybody loved it. It was so well viewed because everybody that ordered an Amazon box for a couple months got something with Rings of Power on it. Why don't they do that with when Sound of Metal came out? That was an Amazon original. Why don't they do that when a new season of any of their other originals comes out.
Why didn't they do it with The Expanse?
Why didn't
They've
they do it with The
done it with The Boys.
Expanse? Marvelous
done it
Miss
with The Boys.
Maisel, Bosch, any of
They've
these things.
advertised The Boys like crazy.
They've advertised The Boys on like actual like adverts, but I've never seen it on packaging. I like Amazon packages all the
The
time.
most genius and simple way to do it too.
The Boys is a funny show, though, isn't it? Because it's an 18. Is that the sort of thing you want to stick on labels on packages? I'm not so sure. But
you can also specify. There's algorithms that are, I guess, it depends if it's coming from a warehouse or if it's coming from an individual Amazon seller, I guess, at that point, where if you knew the product was 18 plus, put it on there, or 16 plus, 14 plus even, because it's technically TV 14, but or is it TV mature? I think it's TV mature. You might want to have to do 17 or 18 there.
I was going to say that just a thing. Can you guys, either of you guys, think of another TV show that's not on our screens at the moment that people love more than Stargate? I know we talk about it all the time because we've become almost a Stargate channel, but just 1 second. Just for Bonk, what a good name. I'm going to must change my name. Just perspective, Misfits, a semi-current show with great writing and sci-fi with a few VFX here and now. It's $400K per episode. So, hey, I've not seen the Oh, have I seen the Misfits?
Is Misfit? Are you on about Misfits, the British one?
What?
The British television show where they've all got superpowers.
Yeah, if that's a British TV show, then that's completely
10 years ago. Or is there
there's a Misfits in 2021 with Pierce Brosnan and Tim Roth. I don't know. Oh, that's a movie though. That's a movie.
Misfits TV series, British sci-fi comedy drama on E4. I don't that won't even be in the same ballpark, but I get where he's coming from. I do get where he's coming from, but yeah, I think that's a different level of production value, sci-fi, of CGI, of everything. Just scale, it's just like Doctor Who. Doctor Who cost $1 million, $2 million an episode. I mean, they're looking at massively increasing the budget for Doctor Who. Thanks to
massively increase next year.
But
this year
they spent and you can see on the screen that it's like $2 million. That they don't spend a fortune on it. But yeah, I mean, I remember years ago BBC did a show, Space Precinct, and it was the first ever British show to just cost $1 million an episode, and it completely bombed. But you could still tell it didn't have the production value of Star Trek that was running at the time, or anything else. But yeah, I was thinking, is there any other sci-fi franchise that isn't in production at the moment that's loved as much as Stargate? I mean, I would say
the only one I can think of.
Maybe, yeah, that gets as much people talk about as much as maybe Firefly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Only thing I can think of is like a Terminator. But then again, James Cameron's always toying with people about that, even though they probably shouldn't do anymore. But
his most recent thing was they are working on a hard reboot, apparently, for Terminator. Talks are happening.
Who's going to be the Terminator, though? Because you cannot replace Arnold Schwarzenegger. No. You just can't do it.
Well, he said he can't do it with Arnold again because Arnold was the reason Dark Fate didn't do well, in his opinion.
Yeah, so there's too many geriatrics.
Farscape.
I don't think Babylon 5's in the same league. I love Babylon 5. I don't think it's quite in the same league as Stargate. I don't think it's talked about as much as Stargate. The Orville is coming back for another series. They're just doing all the negotiation-y stuff at the moment. It's definitely getting a 4th season, I'm told. And Firefly, they keep trying to bring back. Disney, the last thing I heard was Disney just can't bloody figure out how to do it. They want to bring it back. They just can't figure out how to do it and not piss everyone off. It's like, do we do a hard reboot? Do we do a continuation? And they just can't make their minds up. So, and I don't think Farscape, even though I've got a video about Farscape coming up quite soon, I don't think that's in the same league as Stargate either. Bonk, bonk. I completely agree with you, but that's just an example of some of the decent low end of a budget. Yeah, I know, 100%. I can completely see where you're coming from. I just hope they don't do that because, well, look, one of the things about Stargate, first couple of series, I mean, you look back at them now. I mean, Harris, you've watched them recently. They don't have the production value of later series. I actually watched some of the special effects of even seasons 8, 9, and 10 now, and I watched a couple of episodes recently. Even then, I'm looking at some of the special effects, thinking, "Oh shit, that's not great."
Some of them are iffy. There we go.
Yeah, but it's a TV show, 24 episodes a year. You know, it's a completely different world we live in now. But would we want a series that was just Stargate, that was more character-driven and cost a lot less money? Because at the end of the day, actors standing in front of a green screen talking is cheaper than spaceships flying around and blah, blah, blah. So could we put up with a more character-driven show if it meant it cost less?
I'd love to say yes, but you said it earlier. SG-1 was costing $1 million an episode. I don't know how early seasons were, but if it was early, anywhere.
Season was a
first season was $1 million an episode?
First season was limited to $900,000 an episode, apparently.
Well, at that point, if they even want to get in that same ballpark, I wasn't alive at the time, or I was just being born, but I can tell you just from the past 5 or 10 years, $1 is not what it used to be. I assume €1 is not what it used to be. £1 is not what a pound used to be, et cetera, you know?
Yeah.
So per dollar that they're spending on this, they're not getting as much. That does mean they need more money. And as much as I hate to be the person to be like, go grab more money, focus on the story. It's story and characters first and foremost always. But if you can't make a show that has a certain set of expectations under it and you can't meet those expectations, they won't get a season 2. They won't get a second movie.
So I think Stargate was always mostly character driven. The special effects were secondary for me a lot of the time. Yeah. In later seasons, the special effects were pretty decent. Like you could see the spaceships and stuff; they were cool. But the story and the character relationships was always the best thing. I mean, the best example I can give for Stargate, the 2-part special Heroes, and I'm assuming you've seen it, Harris. I'm pretty sure you have. There's literally the only special effect I can see from that episode was when Janet got shot by a staff blast. Yeah. That entire thing was like a fake documentary thing, which they could have filmed on like just a regular old camera. It was literally just story driven, and it's one of the best episodes of Stargate.
Yeah.
And you make a good point where that is literally they only use VFX where it's necessary to enhance the story.
Yeah. It was always supposed to be so much based in reality, wasn't it? Always supposed to be based in reality. So based in reality is cheaper than Star Trek.
Yes.
Where you have to build massive, expensive sets for everything. You have to use CGI for everything. Whereas Stargate, look at this planet. Doesn't it look like a forest in Northern California? Or a quarry, a sand quarry? Isn't that weird?
The good thing Stargate never had was like these... A lot of sci-fi shows do it with like these big establishing shots of planets. Like they're very fantastical planets that we've never seen before. Like Star Wars, for example, you see like the planet before you go onto it. I guess the reason we never see it is because it's a Stargate and you're going through that. But even when they're in ships and stuff, you never just see the planet first and then it like pans down or anything like that. They don't have to worry about that kind of effect because that was never part of it to begin with.
So I guess to devil's advocate that just a little bit, because I mean, that's the perfect example of when they use VFX lightly. Can they go back and do that again, though? Because that was, season 7? Season 8, maybe? That's still early on compared to what they did with VFX at the end of SG-1. Not what they did with I can't even speak now. VFX and SGA, and I assume SGU is taking place in space the whole time. Can they go back to that? Is that even applicable? I guess.
But even then, the sets are so expensive. These sets cost a fortune to build. You know, it's just like that was one of the things about why they wanted to sort of run the movies and the TV series hand in hand and have them crossed over so that they could actually save a bit of money. And that's one of the reasons why Marvel try and do it is because it's really satisfying for us lot because we're thinking, oh yeah, but it is a very effective way of doing a business model. You know, like you have this big franchise and you can. Sorry, baby, I've ruined his day. Ruined my day when I got the email.
Sorry, baby.
Sorry, baby.
Sorry, baby.
Sounds like talking to my wife. Hi, baby. But yeah, mate, ruined my day as well. It's. I just feel like it's not the end. They have a good working relationship. These negotiations can go on. I just want to give you a warning. My source said the negotiations have collapsed, and that was the word they used. So that doesn't sound like they're very confident that it's going to move forwards. It might mean that Amazon go in a different direction, which is what we're all terrified of with Bad Robot. I don't know where we. I'm just gutted. I got this email. To be honest, I can't tell you how gutted I am. But
I think something we should probably stay as well. Come from one person. Well, it come from someone. They could be wrong, because we've had it in the past where someone's mentioned like Brad Wright's in an office, blah blah blah. That was wrong, and it's come out and it wasn't true. Yeah. Maybe they just got wrong information.
I will share this source with you a bit later, because obviously I didn't want it. I wanted your honest reaction when we come into the video. They're not wrong.
Was it an honest enough reaction, Jay? Now that you've demonstrated,
very honest. Thank you, Vanessa.
Into the new year.
At the time we had the Brad Wright thing, we said he's in a meeting. Actually, the guy was telling me that even that was correct. There was a bunch of meetings about Brad Wright. Unfortunately, my source, who no longer talks to me because I basically called him a liar in the video afterwards, just saw a bloke and he just assumed. So he made a genuine mistake. That was a mistake. But shit happens. In this respect, it's not incorrect. The only thing we have to do is we have to remember that we don't know everything. I keep saying, like, so we get snapshots of information, right? And it's littered with people's opinion as well, which is also, we've got to be very careful. We make sure we repeat. And I think I have done a couple of times in the video. This is based on this guy's opinion or blah, blah, blah. We have a snapshot of the information that he's gone in. There's been this meeting. I know certain things that were said that I can't share because it would expose the source, which nobody wants source exposed. But this is the gist of what the result was. And there were supposed to be other meetings that day, and they got cancelled, which is also not a good sign. So
perhaps
a pause. It could be a pause.
As you say, things probably got a little bit heated. They obviously weren't happy with the conclusion. They probably cancelled the meetings just to give everyone a bit of a break. That's always a possibility. Come back with fresh heads in the new year.
Let's have a think about it. Let's come back in the new year, sort of thing.
Yeah. Holiday season.
Where we're at right now. Yeah. I mean, for me, $5 million an episode is not enough. They need to negotiate for that. Or I would be happy if Amazon said, right, for the first series, you got $50 million. What can you do? And if Hawk OSB comes back and says, we can do 6 episodes. Great, do it. Just get something on our screen. Get Amazon to have a look at it. Get them to then decide, right, yeah, okay, we got our confidence. Or just to go, we put this on MGM Plus and no bugger watched it, but then we ran it on Prime afterwards and everybody watched it and everyone went nuts and woo! Let's do 10 episodes. Let's get this on. Just do something. Tell them this is what they did with that Witcher TV show recently. They were supposed to do 6 episodes. Everything sort of went a bit sideways. They just went, well, look, we can get 4. So they did 4. Yeah. That's one of the things with streaming services. You can do that. It's not like saying, right, it's got 22 episodes because you've got to do 22 episodes to fit the calendar for the network. And here's $100 million. Do it. They don't do that with streaming services. So yeah. And let's hope that this is an ongoing negotiation, and this is just a hiccup along the way. How would you guys feel though if, like I say, the rumors about Bad Robot are true? We don't know a lot about those rumors. We know very, very little. All I know is for certain that it was Stargate related, and there's some sort of contractual thing going on. I will say though, before we get into the Bad Robot thing, Bad Robot do currently have an exclusive contract with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Now that exclusive contract looks like it's on slightly dodgy ground because the rumors are almost everything that's on that slate is about to get cancelled, which might mean that contract is up for some negotiation. But if Brad Wright, if this gets cancelled now and Bad Robot step in, is that the end of the world?
It's still Stargate.
See, I want to say that, but I try to use, because I never grew up as a Star Trek fan, I try to use Bad Robot Star Trek to get into Star Trek. Look how well that panned out. I
did the same at it, and I didn't like it.
I've got a Kuiper crystal around my neck. I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I just can't do those movies. From the Force, people forgive Force Awakens, but that is the root of the core issue. I cannot stand any of those three films. And there are good bits of all of them. There really are really good bits in all three of them. But the execution was just not there. And I primarily put that on maybe some heads up over in Disney and Star Wars and Lucasfilm in general, but primarily on Bad Robot. I would not. I don't.
Didn't they also do Fringe?
Bad Robot did Fringe. Yep.
See, I loved Fringe. Fringe was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Bad Robot's one of those things that when I did the video last week, I said just before you have like an instinctual, dear God no, go back and have a look at actually what they've done, because they've done some great TVs and some great movies. I loved the first Cloverfield film. I thought it was great. And I thought it was so clever. And they produced that. It's like they've done some good stuff. Let's hope they could maybe revert to that and do some nice stuff. So
those are all original stories, aren't they? All of their good stuff are mostly original stories where they are bad reboot. It's just
yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, they also did Westworld. The first season of Westworld was brilliant.
It was amazing, and then it just.
Yeah, not so much. I don't watch it anymore.
I still haven't seen season 4, and I watched season 3 and was like, okay, I can see what they're doing. I couldn't. I left it.
Yeah. Oh, Godslayer's just like Cloverfield shit. I loved the first Cloverfield. The second Cloverfield, the third Cloverfield. I think there's a third one, isn't there?
If it counts, technically.
Space, didn't they? That was shit. And there's a fourth one coming. I'm hoping it gets cancelled. That's part of the Warner Brothers deal. Because first one was clever, but just for the love of God, don't do nothing. It was clever because you never actually see what's going on, and I quite enjoy that way of doing it. But you don't need to make any more. There's well done. Don't do it again. Sort of situation, but they keep doing it again. Oh, that made money, and it didn't cost much to make. Let's do 9.
Let's do 9.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where we're at the moment, gents. Anyway, so Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Stargate fans.
I will say that the only thing I'm really confident on right now is that we won't be getting an announcement anytime soon. It seems to me very.
It's really disappointing. Yeah. I was very looking. I've had it in my mind. January to April, we're going to get something, and I've been looking forward to it. Now, what have I got to look forward to now?
Well, March to May. To give you a little bit of
a sweet release of death.
Sweet release of Ascension. I can always come back if they do announce it. I can do a Daniel and just come back. One positivity I did get out of the person I spoke to, because one of the people I speak to is very much in the legal side of things, and this was months ago they told me this, but they're saying, but a lot of the time these shows, they go through all of this, and he told me at the time, prepare for a roller coaster because this is going to be a fucking nightmare. It's too big a project and everything's a bit of a mess right now, so it's going to be a roller coaster. But then he says, but these things, they happen like that. There's this, you think nothing's going to happen, and then all of a sudden there'll be one meeting, somebody with actually the authority to go, let's do it. We'll stamp a bit of paper, and then all of a sudden it's all go. So we could go from literally thinking, well, this is dead, to an official announcement in no time. And it'll simply because somebody with some authority has gone, let's just do it. You know, and that's the way it works. So, I mean, that's why, I mean, like, God of War, right? That was in development for ages. And I knew about God of War. I knew Mark Fergus was involved in God of War in February or March. And they only announced it last week or 2-3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Mm.
You know, it's like Henry Cavill with his new project with Warhammer. That's been talked about, we now know, for ages. We thought he was leaving The Witcher to go to do Superman. And then look how quickly that just went from, you're doing Superman, you're not doing Superman. And quickly that just completely spun in its head. So,
well, that kind of begs the question, does same thing how God of War kind of, it takes Mark Ferguson, Hawk Otsby away a little bit from Stargate in a way, and it might complicate making it to a degree. Does Warhammer complicate making it to a degree? Because they're really just looking for their big sci-fi franchise. And if they're not using the Expanse, if the Stargate's looking dicey for them, they've already announced Henry Cavill as, is he a showrunner or just executive producer? I think
he'll be the executive producer and star. Okay. So, and with Warhammer, they don't have a showrunner or a production company yet.
Okay. But with something like that has 30 plus years of lore. Stargate has nearly 30, but Warhammer has even more. So it has a built-in fan base, maybe just as big. We don't really know because it's tabletop and it's hard to skew those numbers probably. But
there are loads of novels and things, aren't there? Aren't there loads of novels? I don't follow Warhammer. I've never got into these games, but
I have no idea either.
All sorts of then games, and there's loads and loads of lore in there to base on.
Mm-hmm. It looks badass. It looks awesome. But is that one of the reasons they're not pushing Stargate? Because all right, well now we have Henry Cavill under our backs. People want to see him. People are pissed off he's not Superman. People are pissed off he's not Witcher. We've got this built-in audience because Henry Cavill is himself a huge draw.
Yeah,
Warhammer is another big draw as well. But
he's come out of everything that's happened in the last couple of months even more popular, hasn't he? I mean, people think like all of a sudden this guy's not just a great actor. Because well, he's a massive geek. He loves him. He left The Witcher because of where they were taking it. So he's somebody with morals, and you know that he's like us. He wants things to stick to canon, and he wants things to be, true to the source material. So I mean, geeks are just like, he's the ultimate geek, and look at him. He can get women. We all want to be him. So all of a sudden, like every geek on the planet wants to be Henry Cavill. It's I think we always knew he was a nice guy because there's never been any shit about him. But now it's just everybody loves him. He's come out of it so well.
I think I'm like Henry Cavill. Look at these.
You're very close.
Well, you got the gun.
Look at his hair. I could pass for Henry Cavill.
Mate, I get people coming up to me going, Henry? No. Oh, sorry. Hang on. No. It's Jay. That's okay.
All Brits look the same, right? You know.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's the news. So I thought we'll end the show just having a quick chat about 2023 and what we're thinking.
Before we do that,
I was going to say
there is an announcement. There is 193 people in here, right? By the way, I don't know if you've noticed. There's a lot of people.
We've never gone over 200 viewers before on a live. We did today, which is amazing, guys. Thank you so much. Very, very amazing.
So in that vein, we have an announcement. Here it is. 9chevrons.com. 9chevrons.com is your dedicated source for Stargate news, which will aim to complement this YouTube channel with news that we have from our contacts at MGM and Amazon, breaking news about a new potential Stargate series, as well as providing reviews and any potential updates to news stories that we break. Check out some of the news articles that we have already at 9chevrons.com. Oh my god.
The one thing with 9chevrons.com, I mean, I don't know about you, Matt, but I would absolutely love it if the guys watching, if they ever want to submit any stories that we could put on 9chevrons.com, we're more than willing. I write a fair bit of it. I'm writing one at the moment about all this crap we've been talking about today. But anybody ever wants to put in reviews, what they love about Stargate, anything like that, we really want it to be a community page, don't we, as much as anything else. So
there is a contact page on there, and there's also forums as well. So you can join the community, create an account, post whatever you want. If you want to share something specifically that you want to see on the site, head over to the contact page. It's on the About 9 chevrons, and you'll see your pictures of me, Harris, and Jay, and Stormy. just scroll down a bit, and then you can contact us.
It's a picture of Matt, just to make sure that you don't get confused with that. All right. So throw up the other advert, and then we'll talk about 2023. You're not ready?
Sci-Trek also has some amazing merch. Get yours today and show your support at sci-trek.com.
Look at us acting like an actual YouTube channel. Professional.
Rocker, I like it.
Yeah. Hey, this wants to be my job. I hate my day job. I want this to be my job. I would love to just sit around talking about Stargate all day. So we have to make money to be able to do that now, I'm afraid, because my wife won't let me. So it doesn't make enough money. You can't quit your job. Oh, but if I quit my job, I'd be able to put more effort in, and then I'd make more money. So quick, baby. But anyway, right, so guys, before we call it an evening, I'd like to say I was supposed to be looking up what I was looking forward to for 2023, but then all this shit kicked off, so I have no clue. I haven't looked. I'm not going to lie. So, guys, what are you looking forward to? And guys, get into the comments as well. What sort of things are you looking forward to for 2023? We're looking forward to a new year. 2022, by the way, guys, was shit. Let's hope for a better 2023.
I've got six shows I'm actually looking forward to. So we've got.
I'm know about 5. Don't pick one you're not going to talk. No, I'm just shitting with you. Go on.
I think it's 6. So apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently Stranger Things is coming back this year. But I thought it was next year. So if it's this year, I'm looking forward to that.
I was told, 2025. Sorry, but yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Umbrella Academy. That's coming back this year. Doctor Who, that's the big one. Doctor Who 60th anniversary special is going to be 3 episodes, and we're going to get something at Christmas. I'm so looking forward to that.
Harris, don't watch Umbrella Academy when you're taking your recreational. Umbrella Academy, sort of thing you want to be stoned watching, mate.
What do you think I've done for the first 3 seasons? I'm ready for this.
But we've also got Mandalorian coming out, season 3, and a new season of Loki. And I cannot wait for a new season of Loki. I'm so looking for. You two will know, but to the viewers watching this, I quickly looked up new shows coming out in 2023 before the live show. Saw Loki and actually went because I was so excited.
Oh, I thought you were electrocuted. I electrocute myself. But Loki season 2, yeah, Loki. I can't wait to see where they're going to go with it. My confidence levels, though, are like that high right now about anything in Marvel do. They just keep fucking everything up. So let's see what they do. But nothing. In the comments, actually, guys said Star Trek Picard Series 3. I am cautiously. I've been talking a lot to the. I keep calling them Pop-Tarts. They annoyed me last week. The Popcast chaps. They did a video and basically saying everything that we've been saying and didn't reference me, and I was pissed off. So I contacted them and they went, "Yeah, we're sorry. We actually thought you were full of shit, but now we realise you're not." And they were very, very nice about it. And then they tweeted that Sci-Trek's are awesome and really, really nice. So I actually tweeted a minute, "Pop-Tart fuckwits," and then I deleted it. So I better not call them Pop-Tarts. But anyway, they're actually really lovely guys. So I was talking to Shane, and he's a really lovely guy. He is very confident that Star Trek Picard Series 3 will not let us down. It will actually be good, and that we should be really. It really is a nice way to say goodbye to these characters. So, and my confidence levels after Picard Series 1 and 2 are that big. It's like the first episode will probably be brilliant, and the rest of the season will either make no fucking sense or just generally be boring and shit. So let's see what happens. I know you guys aren't big Star Trekkies, but actually Picard coming back for me is a big deal. The first series was I was the most excited. I actually looked like I'd been electrocuted several times.
You're making that same noise?
Picard Series 2. They got me again. They hooked me. I was, oh shit. So, fingers crossed. Game of Beans, The Last of Us. Yes, I've seen the advert for that.
Yeah, that's in the next 2 weeks. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it air next week or week after?
I want to say the 14th and the 17th are the 2 dates that come to mind. One or the other, maybe not.
Sounds about right to me. But yeah, I think that looks very interesting. It's going to be on Sky over here in the UK, so I assume it's a HBO show, is it? I haven't really looked it up, but it does look interesting.
Oh, yeah. I never played the game, but the story is supposed to be phenomenal.
The game is good. I like the game.
Yep.
I need to get a PlayStation.
How about you, Harris? What are you looking forward to, sir?
Well, now that you're talking about TV shows coming out this month, I'm old, near and dear to Star Wars, of course, and Star Wars: The Bad Batch Season 2 airs in 2 days. Or it starts in 2 days. So a little Star Wars animation. I'm a happy camper there. I told you I was printing out the Rotten Tomatoes list of the 35 best films of the year. So that's what I was running to do a minute ago. My printer ran out of paper before it even got to the first page. So
is that what was beeping? We heard beeping.
That might have been some beeping right there. But besides that, I guess just while we mentioned Marvel a second ago, because I'm really not excited for anything they're doing. Maybe a little bit for the Daredevil show. Echo, I'm intrigued about. If Blade comes out somehow, possibly this year, which it's not.
No, it won't be this year now, will it? They've put it back.
It's not going to. I am looking forward to that. But the one thing that actually has kind of caught my eye, I guess Guardians 3 could be good.
Probably not.
I'm kind
looking forward to
of
Guardians.
not over it at this point, but that the holiday special didn't really grab my attention as much as I would have liked it to. I would have rather it been a little more grounded than fun and not childish, but childish, I guess. I'm excited for Quantumania, Ant-Man Quantumania. That trailer just it hits the sci-fi and the fantasy kind of nerd in me, and that actually.
And I think Paul Rudd is a very clever man. Apparently, when he went in to do the first one, he said the script was shit, and they basically, as part of the negotiations, they allowed him to mess around with the script and fix it. And he apparently a few people, and Kevin Feige said this film was saved by Paul Rudd. So I actually think he's very clever, and I think the first two have been great. So
yeah, they're diamonds in the rough. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
besides that, though, I guess there is a little sci-fi coming out. I'm excited for 65, that new Adam Driver and Sam Raimi movie. If I'm going through here, I know Dune #2 is coming out this year, and the second Dune I'm ecstatic for.
I love the first one.
You haven't watched it?
I love the first one. I thought it was great. We've got the Dune. I didn't think the movie was coming out this year, though. I know the TV series is. I thought the movie would be next year.
I think both. Dune's it says November of this year, I believe.
Ah, okay, so the end of this year. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But then there's also that new Hunger Games movie, which piques my interest. I don't know if I have confidence in it or not, but it piques my interest.
I've missed that.
The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, okay. They're always going to do it at some point. I have to admit, it's not massively high up on my priority list, but I enjoyed the movies as much as I could. I sort of bunched them in the same sort of category as I enjoyed. What was that bloody vampire film with Robert Pattinson and Smell of Twilight?
Twilight.
It's in that sort of category for me. Films I quite enjoy, but I really shouldn't publicly say it. So it's a bit like that for me.
Which one?
Both of them, Twilight and Hunger Games.
Oh.
I like them more than I
never watched the Hunger Games. Never watched it. It just didn't look interesting.
Yeah, I like Hunger Games, but I'll have to judge it just a little bit for Twilight.
Is the He-Man live action movie still supposed to be out this year on Netflix? If that's supposed to be out, that might be the thing I'm most excited about. Let me just Google it very quickly. Live action movie. Netflix.
I know this summer we got some good stuff, though. The new Indiana Jones movie, which I'm iffy about, but James Mangold's great. So I have faith in his directing. But then the new Mission Impossible. See, okay, I saw that. Is Mission Impossible just going to take out Indiana Jones? Are we going to get Tom Cruise adventures that's going to denigrate Harrison Ford adventures? Just a thought, but Oppenheimer's right after that, and those three look fantastic in their own rights.
I've watched Moonfall. It was bloody awful, but I have to admit, I enjoyed how bloody awful it was. It's one of those films. God, this is stupid. This is just. But then you watch it go. Should we turn it off then? No.
No.
Popcorn. I've got to watch the end. He-Man will probably be out next year. Just not even film until this year. But I can't wait for the live action He-Man. I was going to say something else and I forgot what it was.
Moonfall's distracting.
Yeah, I was distracted by the whole Moonfall thing.
I saw that in IMAX with Roland Emmerich, like presenting it and doing a talk afterwards. And there was 15 people in the entire IMAX movie theater. It was so fun.
No.
It was so bad, but it was so fun. Because I toked right before it, so that was a great mindset to be in there.
Your career's over. Who said that? There's only 15 people here. You shit. Get out. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like.
It was pretty bad. But in a lovable kind of way. It wasn't the
Independence Day 2.
Independence Day bad. That was just bad. At least it was a fun bad. But yeah, I think we've got some interesting projects this year. I think 2023's got the opportunity to be a good year. My only concern is that 2020 was shit, 2021 was shit, and 2022 was shit. So let's hope it can break.
They say it comes in threes, so we're breaking the cycle.
They do.
22 was shit with some diamonds.
We've had some diamonds in the last couple of years, haven't we? We have had some amazing projects. Hey, the Super Mario movie can do one. You're right. Do you know what? A lot of the things. Oh no, I remember what I was going to say. Remind me. I remember what I was going to say. The Super Mario movie, though, apparently all of the the early views and people apparently have been really, really positive, and people have loved it.
I expect it to be really good. If I don't love it, I expect to absolutely love it. Jack Black and Bowser.
That's the only reason I want to see it, because of Jack Black.
People are angry about Chris Pratt, but he's doing a little bit more of a New York voice, which is how Mario started. So, like, if you go back to the old games, it was more of a New York than it was exasperated Italian. And you don't want to hear an exasperated, like, caricaturized Italian man for 2.5 hours. That would be awful. So I don't know. I think it's going to end up pretty good. Fingers crossed.
I have some news on sliders. I was asked about this by a comment earlier, and I've asked around a little bit. I know a little bit about that, but I will do it in a video when I get time. I'll tell you about sliders. Indiana Jones, I have had a little bit of thing. So I was speaking to one of the people I do speak to, and it's not Sci-Fi, so I haven't done a video on it because I couldn't be. Well, it was over Christmas and I couldn't be bothered. But apparently, it's not going well, and they've done early screenings, and even though the film is supposed to be out shortly, they've done one lot of reshoots. They are planning another set of reshoots, and it is possible that it might even get pushed back yet. But apparently, people hated the end so bad they actually shouted abuse in some of the viewings. And you know, some of these early viewings are like, a lot of these guys are professional people. They actually get paid to go and watch these movies and then never tell anybody. And then give their honest opinion. For them to actually get physically angry in a viewing is apparently very unusual. So
Richard Joy just said something in the comments. He said Indiana Jones 5 is too timey-wimey. That is my biggest hang-up on it. Because you just said it's not sci-fi, but it kind of is now that there are aliens and everything. Shia LaBeouf and everything from the fourth one. I know they're not going to – they're hopefully not going to stick to that. But if they're going into time travel right next,
the size of puppies running around and things in the last one, they got ridiculous. Somebody just mentioned that the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I've lost it. Yeah. I'm actually quite looking forward to that.
That looks fun.
But I loved the first one, which is again, that's one of those films that's it's so bad. I forgot the main protagonist, the British actor that was the main bad guy. It's so camp.
Jeremy Irons, right?
Jeremy Irons.
That's one of the best parts. I love that.
They just went, mate, go for it. So it was just like overacted the whole way through. It was, oh god, it was bad. And one of the Wayans brothers was in it, Snails, and he got stabbed and nobody cared. But then his mate went, no, a proper no, dropped to his knees with his sword in it. Oh man, it was so bad. It was glorious. But I'm actually quite hopeful for Dungeons and Dragons. I think it might be quite good.
It looks fun. That and someone commented Cocaine Bear earlier. That also looks like a lot of fun. Those look like maybe the two most fun movies of the year.
Do you know what? That's one of those films. It's a bit like Snakes on a Plane, where you just know, because apparently that's actually isn't it roughly based on a true story?
It's roughly based on a true story. Emphasis roughly, but probably.
Yeah. But Snake, I just love that there's a story that Snakes on a Plane got greenlit because somebody, I think it was New Line Cinema, wasn't it? They basically went, look, what's the stupidest title we've got in the list? And this was like the chief executive sort of thing. And they went, well, we've got this thing, Snakes on a Plane, but it's really bad. Let's do it. Who can we get to make it? Samuel Jackson's not doing anything. Done. And that's how it got decided. It was literally one meeting where the guy went, let's just do something stupid. And this Cocaine Bears smacks of that a bit to me. Someone's like, it was like at the end of a very long meeting, somebody went, look, we've got some great movies here, guys, and we've worked really hard, but Christ, we've got to do something to make us laugh. Let's just do something. Cocaine Bear, done. Rubber stamp. Let's make that.
The trailer is so good. Just the bear doing the line off of that one dude's leg is just the funniest thing.
So bad. It's definitely going to be one of those films that you watch and just go, what did I just watch? So,
yeah.
But guys, we're going to call it a day because I've got to go have my tea and I'm going to catch up. I've been looking at my messages regarding what's going on with Stargate and I'm like, I'll come back to you with any updates as soon as I get them. But I don't think we'll hear anything now till the new year. I got this news a week after it happened. So I was like, come on. If any of my sources are watching, sort it out. I mean, for fuck's sake. Don't start a message with, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that the most important thing that ever happened just happened. So shout out for Beacon 23 and Wall coming out. Okay. I don't know about Wall. I'll have to Google that. I know about Beacon 23. That looks cool.
Bonk Bonk is still a great name, though.
Bonk Bonk. On it. I am going to get a beer. I have decided with the Stargate news. I was disappointed. I went through the 5 stages of grief. I was disappointed. I was scared. I was angry. I can't remember what the 4th one is, but then I accepted it.
Denial.
I denied it. It's not true. You're all lying. So my nose is really itchy. Sorry. But I'm going to hope that we'll hear something else in a couple of weeks. This is just a negotiation thing, and because I really, really think Mark Fergus is the guy to run this. If we're not getting Brad right, Mark Fergus is the guy. So we really have to hope that this is just a bump in the road, and they can figure something out. And if Amazon is set on 50 million, Hawkeye's being said, okay, well, how about we do the first half of the series and see what the response is like, and just do 5 episodes or 6 episodes and do something that's worthwhile, and then they adjust their plans. That's what I'm hoping. But yeah, he's had his Christmas lunch. Maybe there'll be different heads. But I just know that all the streaming services, including Amazon, are so fucking screwed right now, money wise, that it's like
maybe their heart grow 3 sizes, and they'll just be like, "Well, you can do it now. We'll give you the money. It's fine. We've had our turkey.
Yeah,
you crack on.
I'm full on turkey and applesauce, and let's do Stargate." Hey, but one of the things I will say is share this video. I will follow up and I will get edits from the videos to explain as quick as I can on the Sci-Fi Science channel. Share them. We and that's not just I mean, obviously I wanted to advertise Sci-Trek. Remember the thing I mentioned earlier about wanting to do this full time? I need your money to do that, and I need views. But more importantly, actually, for me, is we need to get people talking about it, because the more people that talk about it, the more Amazon are watching, the more likely it is that they'll come up with a solution. But they've got to do it. Alex A, welcome to the Sci-Trek family, sir. Thank you very, very much. So there's a few people going 50 million for what? Please just go back to the start of the video. We explain it all in the first 10 minutes. Should we just do a quick recap for anybody that's watching now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, tell me in the things if you want to. Okay, let's do a quick recap. So the sources that I speak to, we know that Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus's Penguin and Parker company was looking to do a new Stargate series, and the contract negotiations had started. I'm being told that just before Christmas, Freddie energized a new member. Thank you again. Hey, everybody join. Everybody watching, join right now.
You can gift memberships to other people as well, just to let y'all know.
So negotiations happened. There was a few stumbling blocks very early on. So initially, there was some doubts about whether Penguin and Parker could do it because of the God of War project, and there was some voices within Amazon that were saying, "Oh, can you do both? Are you big enough? You got enough experience?" That was crushed quite quickly, saying that, look, Mark Fergus was going to run a Stargate, Hawk Ostby was going to run God of War. Fine. There was then some timeline stuff, but I'm told by my source that that's normal negotiation stuff. The Amazon executives always want stuff. I always think it's like Star Trek, sorry. Have you ever seen a thing about how the engineer always tells them it takes 4 times longer to do anything in Star Trek, because then you get how else do you get the reputation of being a miracle worker? It's almost like that relationship, like that's the captain of the ship going, we need this now. And the engineer going, well, you can get it in 6 months. No, we want it in 2 months. Oh, okay, maybe 3. And then it makes it look amazing. So I don't know if it's that sort of thing. The stumbling block was when they started talking about the budget for the series, because this is going to appear this will currently appear on MGM Plus. Amazon have said that is a smaller platform and it's going to have a smaller budget. It'll still be the biggest budget of any show on MGM Plus, but a smaller budget of $5 million an episode, or $50 million for 10 episodes. When it works with streaming is that they can spend some more on some episodes and some less on other episodes. Some episodes only cost a couple of million, but then big CGI episodes might cost 8, 9, 10 million. And that's how these things work nowadays. So, it's just like, I am told Hawk Ostby's number was around 100 to 120 million for 10 episodes, and they believed that was going to be the budget. I was told, actually going back 6 months, when MGM still thought they were going to make this, that they were told they were going to be allowed $10 to $12 million an episode, and that was when Brad Wright was still involved. So that was the budget they were looking at then, which would have been around Star Trek level. Discovery costs on average $11 million an episode. That's the budget they were looking at. And now they're looking at less than half of that in a different climate where shit costs more. That is the end of it. We talked about the streaming services and things. I'm going to go on my tea, and I might get a bit drunk.
I'll probably get a bit drunk.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I feel like I just drown my sorrows.
You are?
It's 10:15 in the morning.
Yeah, we know what you're going to do, Harris. But guys, look, I really do want to end on a little bit of positivity, though, that this is a negotiation on a contract. If anybody's ever negotiated anything, like buying a new car, the guy selling the car is going to come in because they don't want to spend money. They're going to go in low. And then the guy wanted to buy the car, going, oh, how about this and how about that? You know what I mean? It's like, so this is a negotiation. There's still time. Hopefully, this is just a bump in the road. Let's see how it goes. All right. But as soon as I know anything, as always, I will get it to you. I will put the full story on 9 Chevrons as soon as I can. Matty will, if that's shared on the Facebook channel, and I will share the 9 Chevrons on the community page as well, so you can read about that and you can comment on it, and I will follow up with other videos as soon as I learn more. All right, guys, as always, Matt, thank you for your time.
That's all right.
You had no choice. I'm in charge and you do as you're told. So, but it's still lovely that you've turned up. And Harris, who just turned up. Shut up! Harris, thank you so much for your time, mate. I'm sorry I didn't have better news for you because I didn't tell you and then I just gone in. Harris, you know what that thing you're really looking forward to? Not happening. Way to ruin your Monday.
We talked about all the fun stuff coming out for 2023, so we got stuff to look forward to nonetheless, right? Glass half full, something like that.
Everybody that has joined, thank you so much. Really, the members really do help support the channel, and thank you very, very much. And obviously, the people who have contributed through chats as well. Really appreciate it. And like guys say, guys, we had over 200 people watching today on a live, which we have never had before. So
instantly 200 for the entire time we were talking about Stargate. Over 200. Exactly. It was amazing.
Exactly. Sexually transmitted disease, Harris, what are you about?
Well, someone just said, where is it? I seem to remember people saying STD needing constant reshoots, which drove up its budget.
Star Trek Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery. Okay, I'm with you now. It's well, with how well that show's actually ended up being. It's kind of an STD.
It is. I'll tell you what, it's a bit of an STD show. It always makes me itch. Anyway.
I was so confused for a second. I was like, what are these people talking about in here?
Guys, thank you so very much. And we will see you very, very soon. Matt, when you put all the new things on, did you put the end bit on? Nope, you didn't. So we're just going to end the video. Say bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
See y'all.